Hey everybody, did you know that this weekend is opening night for American Idiot, the Green Day musical at the Fresno City College Theater? You should all consider attending. I'm gonna be honest, there was like a year of my life where I had Dookie on non-stop repeat, which sounds kind of weird when you say it out loud. Hey everybody, welcome to week 8. My name is Brian Baker, you already knew that, I'm your instructor, and what can I say? I'm not a very good instructor the last couple weeks. I'm going to be honest, we've been doing this thing called program review. It's a huge document, we have to sort of like defend our department and everything, and unfortunately you happen to be taking the class with the department chair, and I remember the days when I used to get paid to just teach, but at this point, not so much. So point being, this is just a long, elaborate excuse for I have not updated your grades. I do apologize, and they will be updated this week. So this week we're going to be looking at Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is all about computer networking. Networking is just connecting a bunch of computers together so they can communicate. As it turns out, this ends up being a pretty useful skill to have. Lots of computers around the world, lots of them, I mean all of them need to be connected. Fact is, if I disconnected your computer from the internet, you would probably look at it and think, well, what the heck is this thing good for? Like, everything we do is really about communication between computers, not necessarily what the computer can do on its own. And that makes networking a great career option. If you're interested in it, we've got obviously a program in our department for network computer technicians, but at the same time, just consider it. If it's something you think you might be interested in, you're kind of, don't really know what you want to do, maybe consider it. There are lots of positions available. They're available in like every different industry and like whatever you want to do. If you want to be in education, schools and school districts, hire networking people. If you want to be in entertainment companies, hire networking people. If you want to do anything, right? There are networking people pretty much in every industry in America. And so anyway, positions are widespread, it's ubiquitous, and one of the nice things is you can actually enter the field with just an AS degree. Every time we do sort of interviews with employers here in town, they always tell us the exact same thing. Like, we don't care what degree you have, we just care, do you know what you're doing? So you just need to get the skills. And a lot of those skills you can get at home, just playing around with equipment and setting up your own little network and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, consider it. It's an interesting thing, and it's also a career that has a really high ceiling. If you look at like the top networking person for any organization, generally they hold the position of CIO. That's, one of the big ones with CFO and CEO. Point being, there's a lot of room to grow in the networking field. And as always, there's a quiz on Chapter 7. So your discussion for this week is going to be about internet speeds, taking a look at how fast your connection is to the internet on these physical networks that we've all set up for ourselves. I've got 3 different options depending on how you get your internet. Honestly, you probably get your internet in multiple ways. Like, I have all 3, right? I have a home internet connection, I have a mobile internet connection, and when I'm on campus, I'm using the public Wi-Fi. So, you just choose whichever one you want to choose. But the idea here is to test your internet speed using speedtest.net or the app, your choice. There's links in the discussion to figure out how fast your internet actually is and comparing it to something else. So for instance, if you have home internet, check your home internet versus what you are paying for, right? Whatever's advertised. See if it compares, and then try it at different times during the day. I say one of the questions is to try it during prime time. That's the 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. hour, because you're going to notice for some companies they use technology that varies depending on the number of people who are using the service at that moment. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., that's when everybody wants to stream Netflix. So you're going to notice an internet speed drop, right? If you're checking your mobile, make sure you turn off your Wi-Fi so you're not accidentally testing the speed of a local Starbucks or something. But test the LTE connection for 2 different locations. I'm hoping somebody tries it for River Park on like a Friday or Saturday night, because if you've ever been at River Park on a Friday or Saturday night and tried to use your phone, you'll know why. Point being, it's going to vary greatly by location. Neighborhood to neighborhood, you'll notice you get different speeds, even though they're all LTE or whatever. And so speedtest.net will actually give you a specific megabits per second rating, right? It's not some fancy marketing term. It's an actual number, which is what most engineers actually care about. And the last one is just public Wi-Fi. Starbucks versus McDonald's, which is faster. Hey, is the Starbucks on this corner faster than the Starbucks on that corner? Maybe. Or even if you're just doing it on campus, right? Checking different buildings. You may notice that math, science, and engineering may not get as good a speeds as business education, which may not get as good a speeds as the library. It may vary greatly depending on the time of day. If it's 9 o'clock and there's a bunch of people taking classes, your speeds might be lower than it would be later in the day. So take a look at the discussion. There's some questions there. You don't have to do all of the questions, right? Just choose one of those 3 types of tests and just do those questions. Yeah, don't knock yourself out, and don't go out of your way. Just, if you happen to be by River Park, do a test at River Park. If you don't normally go there on a Friday night, don't make a special trip. Like, just wherever you happen to be. Oh yeah, I'm at the the corner of Marks and Herndon or something, or I'm the corner of Cedar and Shaw. Just, major cross streets, what's your speed? That is the discussion for this week. And lastly, you'll be doing your second lab in Excel. The second lab is all about absolute versus relative references. So if you need help with that, go back to that Excel video because I explain it there. But essentially it's just, when you copy and paste those formulas, you're going to be changing the reference. Because when you say, like, you're in B1 and you reference A1, you're actually just referencing the cell that's 1 to the left. So as you copy it down or you copy it over, the cell that's 1 to the left will change. That's a relative reference. You can lock down those things using a $ in the formula, and anyway, that will create an absolute reference. So take a look at those. By the way, they'll talk about mixed references in the lab. I've never used a mixed reference in my life. It seems like you need relative or you need absolute. Mixed exists, but I don't know why you would ever use it and not use absolute. So anyway, the other thing is functions. You're going to be going through a ton of functions. Functions are essentially just formulas like you learned last week, but they are pre-done for you with really advanced stuff like calculating compound interest or doing linear regressions. I mean, there's some really complicated functions in Excel. Math that you probably wouldn't know how to do, but you could probably just put in some numbers and have it pop out the answer. So that's using the functions feature. You'll cover a bunch of them. 2 of the hardest ones this week: VLOOKUP, which is essentially just a little lookup table. Like, look at this column and find this response and then give me the number right next to it. So you can use tables to actually get values. And the if function, which essentially creates a conditional. Like, hey, if this number is greater than this or if this number is less than this, then I want you to put this value here. If it's something else, and put this value here. You're essentially able to make decisions using a function in Excel. So anyway, that's Excel for this week. Those are the things that are probably going to trip you up, and but I'm sure you'll be just fine. So anyway, Excel Lab 2 this week. And that's it. Have a great week. I will see you online, and I'm serious. You should probably go check out that Green Day musical. It's going to be pretty good.